Baby, I'm loving the way that you hold me. I'm high off the things that you told me. You got me feeling like I'm your number one. Ooh, baby. Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Elisa B. And I'm the newest member of the Freestyle Club.
Warning. The Freestyle Club contains adult language. It is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. This is Freestyle Club. With your hosts, DaUnknownAdmin, Rafael Reyes, and CPR Jose Ortiz.
Hello and welcome. Welcome to another edition of the Freestyle Club. Joining me this week, of course, my co-host, the unknown admin, Rafael Reyes.
What's good, you bastards?
Are you playing Fortnite again?
No, I put it down, I promise.
Joining us on the third chair, I'm truly excited. I think I'm more excited, or maybe Ralph is more excited. I'm not sure who's more excited. But we have Miss Legendary herself, Alyssa B., joining us on the third chair.
Thanks for having me, Jose.
Welcome to the club, and thank you for being the first female to be in the third chair. You know, you broke up that sausage fest we had going on for a little bit.
Oh, thank you. I'm so honored.
You know what? Off the podcast, we were talking about SOS's greatest hit, Gillette's Short Dick Man. So she actually did break up a big sausage fest.
She did. She really did.
What in the world is that thing? You need some tweezers to put that little thing away? That has got to be the smallest I have ever seen in my whole life. Get the out of here. Eeny weeny, teeny weeny, shriveled little short man. Don't want. Eeny weeny, teeny weeny, shriveled little short man. Don't want.
Just so you know, as I introduce Alyssa B., she is responsible for some of the greatest freestyle songs of all time, but also one of the writers for SOS Records from back in the day, with songs like Rochelle's Praying for an Angel, Holding On to Love, Isaac's In My Heart, which came a little bit after, and not on SOS, but with the same production team. Alyssa B. has been with us for a long time, but you just didn't know it.
That's right. Behind the scenes.
Before we get started and we get on to our topic, I wanted to acknowledge that today we lost a legend, Aretha Franklin. Everyone in my place of work started playing her music as soon as we found out that she had passed. What are your thoughts, Ralph, on Aretha Franklin?
It's a great tragedy. You know, they're all going. And we're at the age that they're all going one by one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I remember watching Aretha Franklin WrestleMania 3, because I'm a big WrestleMania wrestling buff, right? And she's singing America the Beautiful. And as a child, I was captivated because I heard the voice, but I never saw the woman. And when I saw the woman and that voice and the camera panned to 93,173 people, and she's singing America the Beautiful, and she sounded wonderful throughout, I was elated to see such a beautiful voice fill such a great arena. And so that's what I thought about today. The first song that I also played was George Michael's I Knew You Were Waiting, the duet with Aretha Franklin, which got me thinking, like, wow, they're in heaven right now together singing this song.
Right, the best choir in the world.
Yeah, so Alyssa, I know that Aretha Franklin was a big influence on you. So you want to talk about how much of an influence she was to you?
Oh, wow. I remember growing up listening to many different styles of music, but Aretha Franklin was always being played in the house. And she touched every generation. My parents loved her. My grandmother loved her. And I loved her. And my daughter loves her. It's just, it's sad to me to lose her. It's like you said, all the people that we admire, we're losing them, all our inspirations. But, you know, they live on forever in their music. And I can't think about her without smiling, because she brought so much joy to the world, man. All races, all cultures. I loved her.
As soon as I heard your voice, to me, that's the same thing that you're doing in freestyle, especially in 2018. You being an African-American woman, coming in and you're doing all this great writing, but also putting on these vocals that are soulful, sultry, and also captivating not only freestyle listeners, but a crossover potential, just like she was, but now in 2018. And I can tell you it's working, because at my radio station, when they heard Legendary, everyone in the Black Spectrum programming, R&B, hip-hop, they wanted a copy as well. And for me, that was a proud moment for me to have someone ask for a copy of Legendary because they wanted to spin it.
That's an amazing blessing. That whenever I hear something like that, that makes me feel so good, because I'm so grateful for the Latin community, the Hispanic community, because they continue to be my biggest draw, the people who support me the most. But you always want to be, accepted by your own people too. So if everybody's enjoying it, that fills my heart, man. That's awesome.
Raphael last week during our last episode of the Freestyle Club, he was like, my pick of the week is Alyssa B's new song. And I'm like, what you talking about, Willis?
It was not even released, and it already made my pick of the week. That's it. That's how good it is. Can't wait for people to hear it.
I can't hear. I was smiling from ear to ear. That was cool.
But I'm supposed to be Mr. Exclusive, not this week.
I heard it on Tim's spinning show at the very end. Actually, I got a call from Ted. Said, you got to listen to the new song. It's on Tim's show, the last part of his show, because I guess he got bumped off somewhere along the line by Facebook. Mm-hmm. And said, okay, it's easy to find. 9 minutes, I'll find it, right? And it's right off the bat. I'm like, wow, that's it. That's my song. And as soon as I heard it, I contacted her. I said, hi. I want to know the name of the new song.
So you got Alyssa B fanboys. I'm one already, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, wow. Let me make my list.
I sent this from January, and we are here in August, and I'm just saying, Legendary is a song to beat. There hasn't been a better song with a better reaction and a 100% score. If we had a Rotten Tomatoes, you'd be at 100%, for freestyle. And you were being played on my show every week from January all the way till about a week ago with this song, Legendary. I love the fact that you captivated so much of our audience with that song.
Thank you, and I appreciate everybody who voted, everybody who supports it. It's just mind-blowing to think that it went that far. And your remix was awesome as well.
I really, really appreciate the fact that you allowed Jay Adams and I to just get together and do a remix. And for me, every time I heard Legendary, I thought of How I Met Your Mother and Barney Stinson. I just wanted a remix with that on there. And Jay and I were just trying to get together to get that out there in that manner, but with a hard freestyle beat and those great vocals of yours, which are so easy to mix into any beat, because man, it just blends with anything.
And thank you to Jay. He did an amazing job. I listen to it every day.
I'm really proud of that. Not only that, but you're a big fan of the Freestyle Club, and I can't believe it, and so can't the Unknown Admin.
Well, you guys, she knows us.
You guys are so professional. I really enjoyed listening to it. It didn't sound like this is just something you just started. It seems like you've been doing this forever.
Wow. Let's talk about Alyssa and talk about how far she goes back. And it didn't start with freestyle, I don't believe. It was house music, was it correct?
Yeah, the first song that I was ever a part of was a song I wrote called Don't You Want to Dance? And it came out, I'm dating myself, it came back in 1989. And wow. I was a feature. It was on Atlantic Records, and it was house, kind of like Technotronic.
You also did I'm in Love. That was like a housey type of song, right?
Yeah, it was. It was the first solo record that I was ever on.
So in love, and I like it. Can't do nothing about it. The way you make me feel is so real. I just can't live without you. Just thinking about you. See this crazy feeling through me. I know this is an infatuation. For the world, I wouldn't change the situation. It's all good with no complications. All the things you do to me take me to heaven. I'm in love and I like it. Love and I like it. Love and I like it. I'm in love and I like it. Love and I like it. Love and I like it.
When Maximilian came along, I had to pick, so I picked Maximilian.
Yeah, because I remember that song because it had like inner city, tent city type of vibe, that kind of housey feel to it that I can mix in and out of that type of house and keep the party going. I was like, wow, why did she go from doing this to freestyle? I'm curious,
Well, that was originally the direction that we decided that I should go in. And but I always loved freestyle. I always wrote freestyle, and now I'm able to do both. So it all worked out.
Yeah, and the good thing about it is that you're multi-talented, so you can do freestyle, Latin, you can do house, you can do whatever. And as we go back and visit your catalog, you were a writer first or an artist first?
I was an artist and a writer because I did both.
And now, when you got to SOS Records, how did that happen?
Well, my manager at the time found out that they were looking for writers, in-house writers, as well as artists, and he said he thought it would be a good idea to take me over to Tanglewood Studios. So he drove me over. It's near Brookfield Zoo, if anybody knows that, in Chicago. And he brought me in and introduced me to Frank Rodrigo, rest his soul. He was the president, and he listened to my songs, and he wanted to sign me immediately.
Now, SOS Records distributed by BMG. So this was a big deal.
It really was. It really was. I didn't realize how big it was because I was just working with, I met Charlie and Charlie Baby and everybody, JJ Flores, and it was just fun working with people who were creative. I was just excited to hear my music be produced in such a big way. So I was just having fun with it.
So I'm going to run down some of the songs that you have written and that you wrote for the SOS Records catalog. You wrote Rochelle's Praying for an Angel and Holding On to Love, which were instant classics and to this day are favorites of many people who listen to freestyle.
Thank you. And that's always amazing to know that people love it and to see people singing along and they know all the words. That still blows me away.
And I love the fact that Holding On to Love had that Spanish version as well. So they had an English version and a Spanish version, which is awesome. One of the greatest songs ever made after SOS Records was Isaac's In My Heart. And you wrote that. And when I found out that you were the writer of that song, I was floored at the fact that, wow, I'm speaking to the person who wrote one of the greatest songs of all time, and a song that was probably the most popular, most requested song on Clubhouse dance music when it comes to new school freestyle for the mid-90s. Everyone in New England was playing that song, and the reason for that was because I got a box full of Isaac in My Heart vinyl to my radio station, and I ended up giving every DJ in the area that played freestyle a copy, and I wish I wouldn't have had because they're worth $500 a pop right now.
I heard that. I talked to Isaac, and he still does shows, and he still sings In My Heart. And he was like, "Yeah, they're asking for 500 online. I don't have any anymore either. I wish I did."
Yeah,
hold on to those finals, kids.
Yes, yes. I know DJ Brysky must have like 200 of those set aside somewhere. I don't doubt it.
In my heart, there's only you. Girl, your love's a dream come true. Hold me close, don't let me go. In my heart, you're all I know.
It's one of the greatest songs of all time and one of the most sought after songs of all time. The thing about what you're doing now is that you teamed up again with Charlie Baby and you wrote Raul Soto's Forbidden Love. You also teamed up with Charlie to do Tell Me and Legendary as you both feature each other. The first one is Charlie Baby featuring Alyssa B, and then Legendary's Alyssa B featuring Charlie Baby, which is pretty cool.
Tell me if I'm right. Tell me if you want my love tonight or am I dreaming? Tell me is it all just in my mind the way I'm feeling? Don't you feel it too? Tell me if you want me like I want you to.
We had a lot of fun doing it. I don't know if he's told anybody this, but I originally wanted Legendary to be for him and another artist who I felt were legendary. And he said, "No, Lisa, I want you to do it." So I had to rewrite it for a woman to sing it. But it was originally for Charlie and another artist.
I am so happy that he pushed for you to do it, because let me tell you.
I'm right there with you. I was about to say the same thing. I'm glad that they went in that direction.
'Cause I can't cross the line till I'm sure what I feel is right this time. I want something that's real and so divine. I'll surrender my all, but there's one thing you should know before I fall. I don't want the kind of love that's temporary. I want the kind of love that's legendary. I've been searching for that extraordinary one. I want a legendary love. Oh no, I would never hurt you. I would never desert you. I know love is here, 'cause what we have is legendary. Oh no,
Are there any other freestyle songs that you have written for the SOS catalog or for any other artist?
Oh gosh, let me think. I wrote Angelina with JJ Flores for I'm having a brain freeze, but he's the singer from Law, Julio.
Yes.
And I don't think it was ever released, but it got played on B96 in Chicago and a few other places. So it's like one of those underground things, and people still talk about it.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem. I see her dancing in my dreams. Her body moves with grace and rhythm. I bow before her as my queen. When I look into her eyes, then I start to realize I could never live without her love. When I hold her close to me, I'm a man in ecstasy. I could never live without her love. Angelina, come and dance for me, like the wind you move so wild and free. Angelina, can I tame your heart? Or will you stay forever in my dream? Her beauty blinds me like the sunlight.
I wrote the first freestyle song I ever wrote was for De L'Amour, and it was called Latin Lover. Another one of those underground things. It was did well in Chicago. I can't think of any others right now, but I wrote for a lot of artists, a lot of freestyle songs that didn't get released, but I wrote a lot of them.
So basically, Alyssa, you wrote a bunch of songs that are worth $500 a piece. Because De L'Amour is another one that's worth a lot of money. Mm-hmm. You know, we should secretly press Isaac in My Heart and secretly press De L'Amour. We'll make a ton.
Okay, you have to cut that out of the interview, and we'll talk about that.
Yes, we're going to cut it right now as we go to the topic of the week.
This is the Freestyle Club. Topic of the week. Let's talk freestyle.
This week's topic of the week is going to be groups. What a better person to speak to than to Alyssa B., who was part of the group Maximilian. How did you become part of that group?
Because I was at SOS already as an artist and as an in-house writer, I saw Duran Estevez. He came in and he was working on his material, and he did a song with JJ Flores and Manfred Moore called Fat Boy, and it blew up. Yeah. It was everywhere.
All the fat boy him X amount of respect. Now hear this. All of the massive boy him come listen this year. Hear me sing. Big up from the one black man Duran.
They decided that they wanted to have a group. They wanted to give it more texture, more flavor, have singers on it. So they came to me, Frank did, and he said he wanted me in the group. Actually, Manny pushed for me to be in the group. And then I had to decide, do I want to be solo or do I want to be in this group? And since it was already a hit record on the radio, I decided I'll go with the group.
And now, was it worth it to you, now that you have this hindsight and now you're, in 2018, was that the best venue for you to be part of a group?
I think it was. Part of me wonders what could have happened if I had continued as a solo artist, but I'm a shy person. I had never been on an airplane before, only once. So it was nice to travel with people that we were family. We shared so many experiences together, and it helped me to grow as an artist and become comfortable on stage. So I think in the long run, I made the right decision.
What a life is
Because this week's topic of the week is groups, how do you put a group together, and what happens when you're successful, and then what happens when it comes tumbling down? Because eventually it appears that most groups break up.
Yeah, they do. They do. I think it's better if you are a group that you put yourselves together, like you were friends or you were family, and you decided to get together and enjoy it as friends, although it can still kill the friendship. But like Maximilian, it was put together like so many other groups by the label. And then you get these personalities that may not jibe well together. So I think it can be a problem either way, but regardless of how it comes to be, there's always something that breaks it up. It's usually egos and it's usually money.
Do you recall some of the issues that you had within your group that had nothing to do with money or ego?
Oh, I don't know if
She's
I want
laughing.
to go there. Let me take the high road and say that I love my boys. I love Tommy. I still talk to him to this day, and the good far outweighed the bad, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Thank God you're not a member of TKA, because then we would have been here like just.
Oh my God!
It would have been. It would have been crazy, because that's like if you bring up TKA or the Cover Girls, forget it. We're going to sit here for hours. I've seen many groups that come from Chicago. Now, talk to me about the Chicago scene and how it was in the mid '90s.
Well, there were a lot of groups. Law was one of the biggest groups with Julio. Unfortunately, from what I could see, and this is my opinion, I felt like there were cliques and if you were from Chicago, you might not necessarily get to New York, and certain people don't take other people under their wing. It's kind of territorial with some people. And as with anything, any group, there's always competition, and people who might not like you, everybody wants to top the other one. You want it to be all love, but it's not always that way.
Kind of crazy though, that in a music about love, there's so much controversy.
It's everything but love, it seems.
It does. You know that now, before I start my show, I have to play a disclaimer. And to me, I laugh every time that I play it, because I'm playing a disclaimer for a show about love and about love music. The views and opinions of this program does not necessarily reflect those of the radio station or the place where I work at. I think it's funny, but that's how things get, I thought that maybe that Chicago was immune to what happens here in New England and in New York. I thought that maybe Chicago, the environment was a little different. So
I will say, in Chicago, especially now, there's so much love. We're amazing friends with people like Rudy Fausto and so many other people from Chicago. You can feel the love building, and I will say I felt more love with my Chicago people than with some of my New York people. I love you, New York.
Well, New York loves you back, but it's a shame. Yeah, it's a shame that that's animosity or friction between two great cities like that. Where great music is from.
Mm-hmm. But there are people like Papa C and so many other people who are very supportive and inclusive. It's not everybody. You can't say that everybody is like that. There are people who are really welcoming and supportive, and they play our music, and I'm grateful for that. And I hope that it continues to grow like that, and there's more support for everybody, and for not just the old school music, but for new school as well.
I think that for the most part, from what I've heard from this area is that it's expensive to fly people from Chicago to this area to book them for a show, and then you got to pay them and all these different things. So those are the excuses that I've heard throughout the years that, but they would invest in other artists, an old school artist from that area, but to invest in a new talent, for some reason, it just couldn't happen. It didn't happen because there are many opportunities here to have people from Chicago come in and show their talent, and I would like nothing more from that to happen. I would love to have you and Charlie and Rudy all be here, but throughout the years, for some reason, that hasn't happened, and I think that Chicago is a hotbed for freestyle. I mean, Tim Spinning Shomer is my favorite DJ of all time. And
mine too.
I can sing every song from his mixtapes. I know exactly what song is coming. I want to try to replicate that mix. It's because you're a fan of his creativity and the talent that he showed back in the 90s. Elated when I heard that Tim Shomer was going to do an artistic mix with Willie Valentine, and to this day, Freestyle Boom and the Artistic Mega Mix are my favorite mixes. I just play them over and over and over again. Tim
Shomer he's unique. I was listening to him on B96 and I was a fan, and I'd hear his mixes and I was like, wow. When I finally got to meet him, I was speechless. I was kind of quiet because I was, meeting someone that I admired so much. And now I get to go to his house, and his wife, Yvonne, cooks for everybody. She's an amazing cook, and he is just the most wonderful person. And if I can add back to what you said about flying artists out, because I've been in the business so long, I do understand that it's hard for someone to spend money for an artist that is not established and not know if they're going to sell tickets, so I can see both sides of that, but I'm hoping that as freestyle continues, that it will make that turnaround and get back on other radio stations, and that won't be a problem.
I find it kind of weird that they can fly artists from New York to Texas, but we can't get artists to go from Chicago to New York. It's just kind of, the logistics behind that just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, we want great people here in New York, and we have the opportunity. Why not? I mean, someone out there, bring these people over, man. I want to see them.
Well, you know what? That just makes me want to work even harder and continue to put out music, hopefully, that everybody will love. And eventually, I definitely want to come up there and see you guys. If I have to rent a car and drive out there like Edie does. Edie I respect her so much.
And I'm glad to hear that, because that's one East Coast and West Coast person, people complimenting each other, which is awesome. For me, any opportunity that I get where I can have you be here for whatever, I'm going to take that opportunity. So I'm just waiting for the opportunities to arise, because I get those frequently, and I already have in my mind exactly who I want to come to my area. And on top of the list, it's Alyssa B, Charlie Baby. I want to see you guys together in concert. I love putting these type of shows together, intimate, a couple of 100 people, and just have you guys meet people that actually appreciate your music and are not just Johnny-come-latelys to the genre that have been following you or become new fans of you. I love that interaction when it happens.
Well, thank you. Anytime, I would love it. And I know Charlie would love it.
I just wanted to circle back to Tim real quick, because we all know that Tim is the greatest of all times, hands down, right? The best freestyle DJ there is. Mm-hmm. And with this explosion of FB Live DJs, I mean, it's hard to get people's attention, but the man stays humble, and he never loses focus of the fact that you're there to entertain your audience. He's not worried about his numbers. He's not bragging about this. He's not bragging about that. He's just there to entertain the listening and viewing audience, and that's awesome. I mean, this day and age when everybody's yelling, share, 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 me, I'm the boss, I'm the best, I'm this, I'm that. Tim is always level-headed and just cares about the music and the fans, and that's it. Everything else doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And from day one, way back to Praying for an Angel, He was always the first to play the songs on the radio and the first one to give us support. And I appreciate him very much. I love him with all my heart.
I have never been more jealous than when I saw you performing at his birthday bash. And I'm here looking at my telephone, and I'm like, and you guys are on Facebook Live, and I'm like, man, when you came out and you started doing the songs, and I heard that voice and your rap, you know how you have that flow, that Alyssa B flow, that what Pete Hoffman called vocal swag. I just, oh my God. It was like, I've never wanted to be at a concert more than when I saw the performances at Tim Spinning Shomer's birthday bash. I love that. That's the kind of shows that I miss, because we used to have that here in New England, and they come far and few in between, you know, with new artists, not just classic artists, but artists that appreciate the underground. And that's why I don't understand why New England and Chicago don't mix and match, because we're the same. We love our underground freestyle. You know, Love and Wisdom, they used to play that here in Massachusetts and Connecticut. It was like Remember the Times, and they would love Nothing More. I know that Tim Spinning Shomer adopted Miguel Reyes Jr., and when I say adopted his music. He played him on B96. We played him here in Massachusetts. And then Those Were the Times was like one of the biggest songs of all time because of the collective. And we actually had the opportunity to have Miguel perform for our audience for a long period of time. But the point is like I'm surprised that Chicago and New England don't interchange their talents because of the fact that we are so much alike in our preferences of freestyle. Like, people can actually sing obscure freestyle songs to one another because that's how dedicated they are to the music.
And again, I'm hoping that will change, and that we will interact more, and that we'll have more people going to Connecticut and more people going to New York and more people coming to Chicago. I would love to work with artists from that area. I'm all about love, and I'm hoping that it will get to that point.
Who are some of your favorites right now?
Oh, wow. Well, from the old school, of course, who doesn't love George Lamond? Who didn't listen to him? You know, I met him once, and he was just a really cool guy. My favorite freestyle group of all time is Sweet Sensation. I still have their CDs somewhere around here. And, of course, the Cover Girls. New artists, well, I don't know if you can consider them new, because all of us have been grinding, you know, but Diddle D, Julio Mena, who can sing his behind off. Edie, of course, I love her voice. You know, there's so many. I can't even name them all. But and the new group, the group that Willie Valentine is working with, and of course Willie Valentine and his wife Cynthia Figueroa. Just so many that are very inspiring and so good at what they do.
Yeah, Koala Bay is one of the mainstays here in New England. Like, they've been here since 1995, and they never left. You know, it's like once Take Me I'm Yours took hold of this entire area. They even filmed a video here, a little cheesy video, but in that video you can see some of the freestyle talent that we had. Because in that video, they had Marisol, the person who sings The Beginning of the End. They had Stephanie Marie, who sings I Want You, I Need You, all on artistic, and, you know, Koala Bay. So you see all these glimpses of brilliantness and brilliant artists all together in one video. You know, and the good thing about people like Koala Bay is that, you know, they were so popular that at times they would bring a headliner to headline a freestyle show, and they would take over the headlining spot, and the headliner will actually perform before them, because that's how good they got in the area. I'm sure that was the case too with Love and Wisdom Law in Chicago, because they built this legend just because of these great songs that they had. They built this legend where people would think about them here in our area, like, man, wouldn't it be great to have like the Freestyle's Greatest Group concert with TKA and Love and Wisdom, and just they just start naming off, you know, you start naming your dream concert, you know.
And speaking of TKA, we did some shows with them when I was with Maximilian, the lead singer of the group, K7. We never met, but we would see each other, and he'd give me that head nod.
He does it to me all the time. He does it to me all the time, but he doesn't. It
wasn't just me.
I'm like, why are you doing a head nod and you're on the phone with me? I don't understand. I can hear your head nod, but you're on the phone, sir. I wish that we could talk about that secret project that we've been going to release in the near future. That secret project with Alyssa B as the writer, and one of my favorite groups as the singers, and one of my favorite producers as a producer. But we can't talk about it. We can't give you a clip. We can't do anything until they decide when it's time.
Exactly. And you set all that up, and I'm so thankful to you for that. It was a lot of fun, and I wish we could talk about it, but it's coming.
That's a lot of teaser. I wish I could tell you about who's going to sing it. I wish I could tell you who's going to produce it. I wish a lot of things right now.
I did tell you the writer. And
well,
that's
1 out of
something.
3, I guess that's something. You're gonna have to come on 2 more times so we can get the whole puzzle together.
I guess so.
I have requested, and I said this before, that it is called the CPR's Clubhouse Mix because it is my project, quote unquote.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. They're gonna. I'm gonna get that excuse. Oh man, see what happened was.
They'll blame it on me. Elisa didn't want it, But
Yeah. Alyssa
you got my vote. You got my vote.
Alyssa was being a diva, and she said no.
Let's take it back to from the first chair back to the third chair, and I want to know. Tell me, legendary, No More Love. Are we going to see an album?
I would love to have an album, an EP, and there's some things that are in the works that I can't talk about again.
Oh no! Wait, you're going to kill everybody this episode.
That should be the title of your album. Can't talk about it.
All I can say is, me and Charlie are working on a lot of music. I'm working with a lot of different producers, but Charlie, he's my guy, and we're working on a lot of stuff, and a lot of stuff is forthcoming, and I'm very excited about it. I wish I could tell you more, but my hands are tied right now, but it's coming.
I watch you guys interact with each other, and I get a bit jealous. There was a time where we had that here, where we had people collaborating with each other, celebrating their accomplishments together. And I see that. I see that on your videos. I see that in your interactions. And I see that in Chicago right now. And Chicago, for me right now, is setting a good example of the way that people should be interacting with each other in the other parts of the world where freestyle is popular. Miami, New England, New York, overseas. I think I see the freestyle love from Chicago, and I love the interaction, especially when I see the videos of Charlie, Tim, yourself, and just others just sharing in this love of music, whether it be freestyle or house. MDW, Raul Soto, all these people that, just collaborate with each other and are just trying to move that positive freestyle image along.
And I have to say, Raul Soto, I give him total respect because he's the reason that I started writing freestyle again, and we came up with Forbidden Love.
Forbidden love will only lead to broken hearts. Forbidden love will only tear our world.
He was always in there telling me, "What are you doing? You should keep doing this. We need to work on some stuff." It's always the people that I've been around. I've been very blessed and fortunate. They've been extremely supportive. It's family. When I go to Tim's show, it feels like I'm going home. Like, it never seems like business. And I love that about this time in my life. I'm enjoying it very much.
Other than the producers that you've worked with on these 3 songs, are there plans besides CPR secret project that we can't talk about? Are there other producers that you plan to work with or want to work with?
I love my guy Charlie, and we have a chemistry, and he's my number one always. But I can't be on this show without saying the twins. They are just on fire with their production. I love the new Lizette Melendez song that they did, and I think it would be cool to work with them. And of course, I'd love to work with Willie Valentine. I think he's an amazing vocalist as well as, producer. There's a lot of people that I would like to work with, not just in freestyle. We'll see what happens.
The good thing about those 2 sets of producers that you just mentioned, the Santana Twins and also Willie Valentine, the Santana Twins are old school. When you go to them, if you ever go to them, they would capture all that flavor from the past, but also give that new school twist for 2018 or 2019 or beyond. So that would be a great collaboration for you. And then, for Willie, you would take that hip hop flavor and you would blend it into your soulful voice. And so either one you choose is going to be legendary.
And of course, Jay Allums, I would love to do some more stuff with him. He did a great job on the remix.
Yeah, and if you ever wanted to do something dance, any top 40 stuff, he's excellent at that. He can replicate anything. The guy hears a sound and he can play it for you in a matter of seconds. So take your choice of producer, work with all three. But you'll hear different sounds of Alyssa B with those three different sets of producers. I think that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. We'll see what happens. That would be fun.
There you go. TST, Artistic, fire up those doors. Let's get those beats going.
Jay Adams, let's do this.
This is Freestyle Club with your hosts, the unknown admin, Rafael Reyes, and CPR Jose Ortiz.
I know this is a freestyle podcast, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask, are you going to do any more house music being from Chicago?
Absolutely. That's one of my first loves. And I have a new song coming out on Soul Flavor Recordings with MDW out of New York. It's called Africa. It's Latin Afro House, and I wrote it. And it's about my love for Africa. I wasn't born there, but it's a part of my history. It's a part of all our history. And I'm very excited about that. And that's coming out very, very soon. And hopefully with a really hot freestyle mix. Got my fingers crossed.
Nice.
Best of both worlds there. Freestyle and house. Now you got both sides of me. There you go.
There you go.
Now, when you say Africa, you mean a remake of the song Africa?
No, even though that's one of my favorite songs. But no, it's a new song, same title, but it's from my perspective. I'm a huge fan of Gloria Estefan, and she had the song Mi Tierra.
Yes.
And I always wanted to do a song like that, but for Africa. So this song is like that. But it's paying homage not only to Africa, but to my Hispanic roots and giving respect to all the Latinos who supported me from day one. And it's in Spanish.
I got a question for Ralph. Ralph, what made you an Alyssa B fan?
The vocals and the production. I was like, oh, yeah, this is different. And then when I heard her blow, I fell over my chair. I said, that's it. I'm a fan. That's it. And then, again, when I heard that Memories of Love, again, there was the production. I'm like, oh, man, yeah, I want to get up and dance right now, And then I hear the voice. I fell over. I was like, that's it, man. It's just she's on fire. 1 song, 2 songs, 3 songs. I'm like, how many songs is she going to come out with this year?
Thank you,
My
Ralph.
heart can't take that. My heart can't take it.
Thank you. You want to hear that when you want to know that the music you do, that people enjoy it.
I was introduced to your music through Willie Valentine. Willie Valentine called me and said, did you hear the Charlie Baby song featuring Alyssa B? Tell me. And I'm like, no, I haven't heard it. You need to find it. It was on Beatport. And, Beatport's not cheap. You want this track, $5.99,
Mm-hmm.
So I had to purchase the song. And from that point on, I became a huge Alyssa B fan. And it's funny because people are like, I love Tell Me. That's my favorite. And then they heard Legendary and they're like I said, I love Legendary. And then now that Memories of Love is going to be released in the near future, they're going to be like, Legendary was good, but this Memories of Love.
I'm telling you, I can't wait for people to hear it. I cannot wait.
Memories of love won't let me go. Living for your love is all I've ever known. Memories are all that I have left. Can't you see I'm just a shadow of myself? Every night I'm haunted by the story of all that might have been and all that never was. Lost in memories of love.
This is the Freestyle Club. Pick hit of the week.
Alyssa B, do you have a pick hit of the week for us?
Well, I love my freestyle, and I know this is a show about freestyle groups, but in memory of Aretha Franklin, can I request an Aretha Franklin song?
Absolutely.
Can we hear Freeway of Love?
Freeway of Love. And a 3, and a 2, and a 1. Hit it. Unknown Admin, do you have a pick hit of the week?
This week I went with Rudy Fausto, Strings of My Heart.
So glad that I was the one that you chose to be my soul, and yours we tied up with this rain. 'Cause I was lost like a sailor in a starless night, and you came and made my hope regain its light. I can't count the reasons why, but you make me feel alive. I can't breathe, 'cause it's you that's pulling the strings of my heart.
There you go.
That is an amazing song.
Rudy.
Rudy, and you know what I like? What the artists are starting to do, and some of the producers, of course, is they starting to tease, and that's that's what you want to do. You want to tease your audience, promote your song little by little, and get them excited to what's coming out. And he did some of that. I remember early on. So
Now, this week's pick of the week for me is unique, as in it's La Bouche. La Bouche is back with a brand new song called Night After Night. Now, let me just say this, and I hope that this does not come out as disrespectful. Josh Weissman, I'm going to have to rethink this whole line.
Say it.
I can't, it's dirty. Let me just say that Josh Weissman is always there trying to put it in. And so...
Mo, I think I know what word you wanted to use.
What I'm trying to say is that Josh Weissman is the man in a lesbian threesome. Jamie Foxx, he did a skit like he was with two women, and he goes, "Hey, you want some of this? You want?" I don't want to say the word, but he goes, "You want some D? You want some D?"
Hey. And there was two girls in there. Dos chicas. So they start kissing each other and rubbing and touching each other, and it was all, succulent, and it was intense, and it was just going down, and it was getting heated, and you know what? They totally forgot that I was even in the motherfucking room. I couldn't even get the dick in them. Like, anybody need a dick? I got the dick right here. Anybody need a dick? You're going to need a dick soon. I got the dick right here. Anybody need an emergency dick? You need an emergency dick? I got the dick right. 45 and a 45 and a dick and a 45 and a 5 and a 5 and a dick and a 5 and a 75 and a dick and a 5 and a 5 and a dick and a 5 and a 5 and a 95 and a dick and a 5 and a 5 and a dick and a 5 and a dick in your mouth going once, dick in your mouth going twice. Fuck it, I'll jack off. I'm Jamie Foxx.
So that reminds me of Josh Weissman. He's always like, "Hey, you want a remix? I got some R for you. I got some R. Here's the remix."
But
I admire the hustle,
His persistence paid off. Now he's on the Bushes, on their EP.
He's on CPR's countdown.
Yeah,
exactly. You're talking about him.
A guy offering D is in La Bouche. I couldn't have written that myself.
And for the record, he did offer to do a remix for me too.
Yes.
There you go.
Night after night, night after night. I want you to stay, 'cause it feels so right. I can feel your heart is beating next to mine. I can feel your everlasting love is come. It's so real, I hardly can express myself. To the moon and back until the end of time.
Josh Weissman is very persistent. Every time that I'm online, no matter what artist it is, Josh Weissman is always there offering a remix. Everywhere that he went, offering a remix. I'm not sure how many people have taken him on this remix thing, but I know that La Bouche did. And this week's pick of the week is La Bouche, Night After Night, the Josh Weissman remix. And let me tell you, I went on iTunes and I saw the popularity of the single itself, and the short version, the the radio version has a lot of popularity. You know how it fills up on the popularity of that particular track. But the freestyle one is all full, and it's like at number 10 because that's how many people have downloaded that version of the song. It just feels like...
Congrats.
So congratulations going out to Josh Weissman, my pick of the week this week with Night After Night, a remix that he did for the group La Bouche.
Subscribe to the Freestyle Club podcast, DaUnknownAdmin.com, and CPRSmusic.com.
Alyssa B, any closing comments before we wrap up the show?
Just I love you, Ralph. I love you, CPR. Thank you for all your support. Thank you to everybody at the station. And anybody that wants to follow me, you can find me at The Real Elisa B. I'm everywhere.
Ralph?
Well, I think that her career is a prime example of how someone can escape the orbit or the gravity of being in a group to create their own orbit. Because you hear so many times of how people leave a group and then the fight is about, they want to sing those old songs. And here we have someone that was in a group, but she's creating her own music now, new music. And it's just as good, if not better, than what she had before. I mean, at least that's my feeling. That's my opinion.
Thank you, Ralph.
I'm going to agree with you on that. It's an honor for me to have you here on the Freestyle Club, on CPR's Clubhouse, on DaUnknownAdmin.com. I'm sure that the sentiment is shared by Ralph. I just want to say thank you for writing beautiful songs. Right now, there isn't a better writer than you. That's not me making things up. That's real. For a person to write songs like Praying for an Angel, Holding On to Love, Isaac in My Heart, and for you to, years later, in 2017, come back and write a beautiful song for Raul Soto, Forbidden Love, and for you to team up with Charlie Baby to do Tell Me and Legendary, and now Memories of Love. The writing's on the wall. Right now, you're just the top artist in my book for this year, 2018.
Very kind. I appreciate that.
I want to thank Raul Soto for pushing you, because if it wasn't for him and having you write these songs for him and pushing you, as you stated previously, you wouldn't be here. So kudos to him.
That's true. Absolutely.
Well, that about wraps it up for this week's edition of the Freestyle Club. For the Unknown Admin.
What's up, you bastards?
That was the intro. Where can they find you?
You can find me at DaUnknownAdmin.com and wherever the Planet Rock beat is not.
Until next time at CPR and the Freestyle Club, you can catch me at CPRSmusic.com. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace, love, and freestyle.